not stand to take it in.
It's not all right. Yeah, we saw her, she's coming.
Maybe she wants you to do it, Martha.
Affordable Sarah.
There we go. There we go.
All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I am so happy. Today is a great day. Today is a day for celebration. Today is a day where we celebrate equality and fairness. And most importantly, today is a turning point in the lives of so many couples and families across this land. For today, across this country, families will be treated like families, no matter where they live, no matter where they go, and no matter who they love. For children across this country who will now grow up in a more equal America, today is a great day. Today is also a credit to the many people who have fought for decades to make this day possible. To many, it may seem like marriage equality was won overnight, that it happened very quickly. But we know that is not the case. It took time, it took perseverance, it took courage. And this is a fight that began and was won here in Massachusetts. As a resident of Massachusetts, as the Attorney General of Massachusetts, I know I join with residents across this state in celebrating who we are and what we have done. I want to thank the legal team at GLAAD, led by Mary Bonato, for their vision to lead the charge in the courts early on, beginning here in Massachusetts, bringing cases that people thought could not be won, laying the groundwork for today's decision. I also want to thank the incredible team here at the Attorney General's office, from our fight challenging the Defense of Marriage Act to our work in the marriage equality cases since. I appreciate the tireless work and effort they have brought to bear. It was a very special moment for me earlier this morning to be joined by staff and colleagues in the Attorney General's office who have worked very hard to contribute to this cause. It was also a very special moment for me as a newly elected Attorney General to have the very first brief filed with my name on it be our amicus brief filed in the marriage equality case in the Supreme Court. And I know former Attorney General Martha Coakley, who is here today, was a tireless advocate in this fight. I want to thank her for her commitment, her leadership to this. Most importantly, this would never have been possible were it not for the couples and the families who were willing to come forward and share their stories, make clear to the courts, make clear to the people across this country what this is all about. Willing to put themselves out there. People like Julie Goodrich and her daughter Annie, who we are absolutely thrilled to have with us. years old, but she was 5 years old when you folks rocked the world. So thank you so much for being here with us today to see this through. These couples who came together in a simple expression of commitment and love. They sparked millions of conversations across this state, across this country, and across the world. They changed minds and they changed hearts. They were the voices of equality, they were the voices of fairness, and they made today happen. I just want to close by saying how proud I am to be from Massachusetts, and how proud I am to celebrate, not only as your Attorney General, but as a gay woman in this time. I'm proud of our country today. I thank all who fought so hard to make today possible. Thank you for being here. And now, I'd like to bring to the podium Julie and Annie Goodrich.
So I was at the Supreme Court the day that Mary Bonato argued our case, and I listened to Alito and Scalia talk about things that we hadn't heard talked about in Massachusetts since 2001. And, you know, I had my head in my hands. I was so worried that, you know, our friends and our neighbors in places like Mississippi and Alabama wouldn't have the same rights that we have. And I was even more concerned that we wouldn't be seen as worthy of equal protection under the law, simply because we're lesbian or gay. And I am beyond thrilled. Hillary called this morning. She's in Oregon. Annie was working. We've been crying nonstop. I'm not going to make you go through that now. But this has been momentous. And I don't know if you'll recall, but this started for our family when Hillary and Annie were reading a book about love. And Hillary turned to Annie and said, "Who do you know that love each other?" And she named all of her friends' parents, all of whom were straight and married. And Hillary said, "Well, what about us? What about Mommy and Ma?" And Annie said, "If you loved each other, you'd be married." And you know, now kids across the United States of America will be able to know that their parents who love each other are able to get married. And it's just a very, very exciting time for everyone. Thank you so much. You know, Mary Bonato is the brains behind the operation as far as our family is concerned, and Vicki from GLAAD is here to say a couple words. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Vicki Henry, and I'm a senior staff attorney at Gay and Lesbian Advocates and Defenders, or GLAAD. And Mary Bonato did argue the case on behalf of GLAAD, and she's been down at the Supreme Court today to hear the decision live. Obviously, we're absolutely thrilled with the decision. It's a blockbuster decision, a blockbuster legal and cultural moment that recognizes the equality of loving same-sex couples and lifts up those families, not just the couples, but also their children and their extended families, and recognizes that they love and deserve the same opportunities, the same equal treatment, and the same benefits of marriage. I think the court understood, and the majority opinion explains how important marriage is to our society, and that being excluded from that institution has a dignitary harm, and of course other harms about not having the stability that marriage can bring to a family, and recognize that loving same-sex couples want to marry for the same reasons that everybody else wants to marry. And it lifts those families up and gives them an opportunity and equality to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's just a terrific day for everyone. And I completely agree that this Attorney General's office, with our past leadership and current Attorney General, have been terrific at supporting these efforts, both in bringing their own challenge to the Defense of Marriage Act, which limited marriage to one man and one woman on the federal level, and then working on the amicus level, amicus briefs at the Supreme Court in this case. So thank you for those efforts. They've been just invaluable.
Thank you. Thank you. At this point, we'd like to open it up for any questions.
What were your personal feelings, General, when you heard about the decision this morning?
It was incredibly moving. We were in our regularly scheduled morning staff meeting, and we got the news right at 10 o'clock, and it was a moving moment. So many people have fought so hard and so long to see this happen, and it was great to see colleagues wander down the hall who have been personally affected by gay marriage bans across this country. Folks wander down the hall who worked so hard on the briefing and the legal work out of this office, and it was just a great and wonderful and poignant moment, and sort of amazing to realize the culmination of years of work and effort by so many. So it was a great day for the state, great day for the office, great day for America.
What do you make of the Chief Justice's comments in his brief? He said, you know, it's not really about equality or gay marriage for me, it's about states' rights, and this should be up to the states, not to the federal government telling people what to do. How do you respond to him?
It is about states' rights. This state made its case, though. I think we answered that question a long time ago, back in 2003. So I'm not sure what he's driving at. This is a case, this is about equality. This is about fairness. This is about the dignity of human beings in our state and across this country. And this is about the realization that that it is so important in this country, in this time, that we treat people with dignity and respect. The vast majority of the American public, remember, is already with us on this issue, supports marriage equality. 70% of people living in America live in states that support marriage equality. So to the Supreme Court, I'm delighted with the opinion, but I also say it's about time. This is where we are, this is who we are. And whether it's 5-4 or 9-0, it doesn't matter. A win's a win. Game over. We can move on. We can celebrate together because there is more work to do. There's more work to do when we think about some of the disparities that still exist across our country. We know we have work to do. We know, all of us who have been involved in this effort know that the fight was never going to end with marriage equality, but today is a day to rightly celebrate and to rightly honor those who have worked so hard to see this day come.
General, what is the next battle in that fight?
Well, you know, I think that that there are any number of things we need to look at. When you look at LGBT youth in this state, in this country, disproportionately they suffer higher rates of bullying and harassment, mental health issues, disproportionately are homeless or run away. We have work to do. On issues of transgender equality, we have work to do. On issues of racial disparity across the lines of housing and employment and wealth and healthcare and the like, we have work to do. So the battle in advancing, protecting, moving forward with civil rights is never over. It was 40 years ago, I think, this week that people were pummeled at Stonewall. We know how long these battles take. Last week we saw a terrible incident in Charleston, South Carolina. We know how much work we have left to do as a country, but today's decision and the celebration that permeates this room, this state, and across this country is a sign of who we can be, who we should be as Americans, which is why I have renewed optimism about not only the work that we have to do, but what we can accomplish.
Would you let your former boss say a couple of words?
When you put it that way.
Martha, what does this mean in terms of Massachusetts blazing a trail, as it has done really for hundreds of years in this regard as well?
Well, echoing the Attorney General, it's a great day to be from Massachusetts, as it was yesterday, as we saw affordable health care, where we started, to provide that for everybody, to be fair. You know, our roots of fairness here in Massachusetts have sometimes taken funny positions and funny paths, but yesterday's decision and today's decision, fair housing yesterday, Affordable Care Act, today's decision, I think we all recognize that we don't move to the right side of history always in a straight line, and we've had our zigs and zags. But today was a good zig, and I think that I could not be happier. And I know for everybody in this office, I'm looking around at folks whose lives were affected by this, who worked on this, as Attorney General Healey said, it's a personal thing. And without the courage of those people coming forward, this would never happen. I firmly believe that. But only in Massachusetts did we have a court that recognized that. And, you know, before me, Mary Bonato, and an Attorney General's office that said, this is about fairness, we are going to fight the fight. And I am extraordinarily pleased that we as attorneys have been able to, in the public interest, make clear what is clear in Ireland now, is clear in this country. And for those states who may resist this, I think those leaders who resist it should look to where people's hearts and minds are, because the tide has turned, and this is, I think, a great day, and I think we will see acceptance of this. And Moore said we still have battles to fight. But I have great confidence that this Attorney General and her Civil Rights Division will be right out in front leading that battle.
She still got it, huh? Any other questions? All right.
Thank you.
Well,
Just one quick thing. So, you know, just to pick up on something that Attorney General Coakley said, you know, we do have a debt of gratitude to the plaintiffs who came forward, and GLAD and the Attorney General's office. We need people to come and tell us about injustices, because that's what lets us come forward and do the public education and do the legal work to keep making the Commonwealth and the country a better place.
At this point, I'd recognize Sarah Wunsch from the American Civil Liberties Union.
Thank you very much. We are enormously excited for a historic decision about equality and freedom, and that's what this case is about. And I do want to thank all of those who have worked for so long. This decision shows, I think, how long sometimes we have to work for justice in this country, but people should not give up. And I want to say there was a 1970 ACLU case in Minnesota, which was one of the first right to marry for gay people cases. It lost, and it led to one sentence by the Supreme Court saying they didn't even see a federal question. Look how far we've come today. But the last thing I want to say is a lot of this is built on a 1967 Supreme Court decision, Loving versus Virginia, which was about the right of interracial couples to marry. And that was a huge decision, and it's the basis in many ways for the decision today. That too was an ACLU case, and I want to say that we are enormously grateful to GLAD and all of our partners, the AG's office, and we will continue to fight the fight, because as we see after Loving versus Virginia, discrimination didn't go away. And the same thing's going to be true here. We need non-discrimination in every state on the basis of sexual orientation. We don't have it yet. We have it in Massachusetts, but that's part of the fight that will continue. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Some of us will get back to celebrating. It's a great day for Massachusetts, a great day for families across this country. Thank you.